There are countries that whisper their stories. And then there's Vietnam, a place that practically sings them at full volume. The moment you land, the air hums differently. The rhythm is fast, unpredictable, and alive. Imagine the chaos of 1,000 motorbikes weaving through traffic, and somehow nobody crashes. It's not madness, it's choreography. Every honk, every flash of a headlight, every stall sizzling by the street corner plays a part in this symphony. In Vietnam, calm and chaos are next-door neighbors. In Hanoi, mornings start with monks walking past lakeside joggers, steam rising from bowls of pho that seem to cure not just hunger, but the soul. Move a few blocks, and the serenity of temple bells gets replaced by street vendors yelling over the sound of coffee machines. It shouldn't work, but it does. This country has mastered the art of beautiful contradiction. There's an energy here that doesn't care about perfection. It's raw, human, and strangely addictive. People don't rush for the sake of being busy. They move because life here never stands still. In Ho Chi Minh City, old French balconies share walls with modern glass towers. One moment, you're sipping iced coffee under a colonial archway, and the next, you're staring at a skyscraper that looks straight out of a sci-fi film. Vietnam doesn't erase its past. It stacks it, layer by layer, like a timeline built out of bricks, wires, and incense smoke. Even everyday scenes feel cinematic. A woman balances 2 baskets on a bamboo pole while motorbikes fly past her. Kids chase kites through alleyways painted with French blues and Vietnamese reds. The air smells like roasted peanuts, wet pavement, and exhaust, and somehow that mix feels comforting. This isn't the kind of beauty you frame. It's the kind that moves right past you before you realize it was there. And just when you think Vietnam is all motion and noise, it slows down in the most unexpected ways. Step outside the cities, and it's like someone pressed mute on the world. The landscape opens up. Mountains shrouded in mist, rivers that look like glass, and rice fields shaped by centuries of patient hands. There's a rhythm even in stillness here. Take Ha Long Bay. Nature's sculpture garden made of limestone giants rising straight out of emerald water. Every island looks like it has a secret. Cruise through it and you'll feel small in the best possible way. The silence there is sacred, broken only by the splash of an oar or the distant call of a bird that probably owns the place. People call it a world wonder. Locals just call it home. Further north, the terraces of Mu Cang Chai fold into the mountains like green waves frozen mid-motion. From above, it looks like someone carved the earth with their bare hands just to make it beautiful. And in a way, they did. Each step of those terraces tells a story of families who plant, wait, and harvest in tune with the clouds. It's a masterpiece built on patience. Then there's the highlands, mist-covered valleys that smell of pine and fresh rain. Dalat feels like a city built on a sigh. It's quiet but not empty. Lovers row small boats across lakes that look like mirrors. Flower fields stretch for miles, and coffee shops cling to hillsides as if afraid to miss the sunrise. The air there feels like it's been filtered by nostalgia. Head east, and the coastline steals the show. Vietnam's shore runs for more than 3,000 kilometers, and not one stretch of it feels the same. In places like Nha Trang, the beaches hum with life. Tourists, street food, music, and kids turning sand into castles. But go a little further, and you find Phu Quoc, where the water turns a color so clear it makes your phone camera jealous. It's the kind of place where the day dissolves into the sea, and even time seems to stop checking the clock. But Vietnam's beauty doesn't shout for attention. It sits quietly, waiting for you to notice. Sometimes it's a fisherman pulling his net at dawn, the light catching the mist just right. Sometimes it's an old woman laughing at her own bad joke while selling dragon fruit. And sometimes it's just the silence between 2 waves. The country's landscapes feel like moods, constantly shifting. The north greets you with mountains and fog that make you want to speak softly. The central plains stretch wide, filled with rice paddies and rivers that seem to move at their own pace. And the south dances. It's the heartbeat of the Mekong, where life floats, literally. Boats become shops, houses, entire neighborhoods drifting with the tide. What's special is how all these contrasts somehow feel connected. The noise of the cities, the quiet of the countryside, the softness of the beaches, the sharp edges of the mountains. Vietnam isn't trying to be one thing. It's everything at once, 1,000 textures wrapped into one endless story. And maybe that's what makes it unforgettable. It doesn't try to impress you with perfection. It wins you over with honesty. The people, the places, even the imperfections, they all belong. You don't just visit Vietnam, you tune into it. If Vietnam had a national language beyond Vietnamese, it would be food. Every meal is a conversation, loud, messy, full of personality, and somehow always ending with laughter. Forget fine dining. This country turns the sidewalk into a banquet hall. Imagine this. Steam rising from a bowl of pho ho so fragrant you'd trade your Wi-Fi password just to find out the secret ingredient. Spoiler, it's patience. Every sip feels like a story that's been simmering for generations. Street corners transform into mini restaurants as the sun rises. Women in conical hats pour coffee thick enough to wake an entire neighborhood, while men argue about football scores over bowls of noodles. And the best part? Nobody's in a rush. Meals here aren't just eaten, they're lived. Each region cooks with its own rhythm. In the north, flavors are balanced and subtle. Hanoi's pho tastes like harmony in a bowl. Move south to Saigon, and the dishes explode with sweetness, spice, and attitude. You get banh mi stuffed with pickled veggies and chili sauce that could wake the dead. Central Vietnam? That's where the heat kicks in. Bold soups, royal recipes from Hue, and dishes that feel like they were designed to test your courage and your taste buds. Hoi An, though, might just win the award for most edible postcard. Its streets are draped in lanterns, glowing like confetti in the night. The air smells like grilled pork and smoke from sizzling woks. Restaurants spill into the streets, and every corner seems to offer something you've never tried before. Try khao lao, noodles, pork, herbs, and a sauce so perfect it doesn't need explaining. You can't eat it quietly. You'll hum through it like a song you didn't know you knew. Food in Vietnam isn't about indulgence, it's about connection. Every bite ties you to the people who made it, the land that grew it, the ocean that seasoned it. The country eats with purpose and joy, not guilt. Even coffee here feels like an experience. But the flavor of Vietnam isn't just on your tongue, it's in its heartbeat. The culture here feels ancient and alive at the same time. Take Hue, the old imperial capital. Its palaces and pagodas don't feel like ruins, they breathe. Walk through the imperial city and the air feels heavier, quieter, like it remembers everything. The ornate gates, dragon carvings, and faded red walls whisper of emperors and poets. You don't need a guidebook, you just need to listen. Then there's My Sun Sanctuary, a cluster of ancient Hindu temples tucked deep in the jungle. Time has chipped away at its bricks, but not its spirit. When sunlight filters through the ruins, it's easy to forget you're standing in a place that survived centuries of storms and wars. It's not just history, it's resilience turned to stone. That same resilience runs through the people. Vietnam has seen wars, floods, and countless challenges, but the country refuses to be defined by struggle. Everywhere you go, there's laughter. Locals wave at you from motorbikes, kids shout "hello" with more confidence than most adults, and old men invite you to sit and drink tea even if you share no common language. It's a kind of warmth that doesn't need translation. In villages like those near Hoi An or the Mekong Delta, you'll meet families who still weave silk, craft lanterns, or make coconut products by hand. Their hands tell stories that machines can't. These traditions aren't museum pieces. They're alive, passed down quietly from one generation to the next. And then there's art, not the kind you hang in galleries, but the kind that decorates daily life. The áo dai, Vietnam's traditional dress, is elegance woven into fabric. The way people decorate their homes with ancestral altars, the way musicians play traditional instruments beside neon-lit bars. It's all part of one long conversation between old and new. Vietnam's culture doesn't resist change, it dances with it. French cafes sit beside ancient temples. TikTokers film street vendors who couldn't care less about being on camera. One moment you're staring at a 1,000-year-old pagoda, and the next you're paying for a smoothie with a QR code. It's that blend, sacred and spontaneous, that gives the country its charm. The past and present don't compete here. They collaborate. A monk might check his smartphone before meditation, and a Gen Z student might light incense before an exam. The rhythm of tradition beats inside modern life like background music everyone still knows by heart. Even the streets tell this story. Old bicycles rolling past electric scooters, ancient melodies mixing with pop beats from open cafes. It's a country that evolves without forgetting where it started, proving that heritage and hustle can share the same space, the same heartbeat, and somehow make perfect sense together. But maybe the real treasure here isn't the places or the food, it's the people themselves. There's something about the way Vietnamese people look at life. It's as if they know something the rest of us forgot, that joy doesn't have to be complicated. You see it in the grandmother selling flowers by the roadside, arranging them with a precision that turns a daily chore into art. You see it in fishermen returning home at sunset, their boats painted with bright eyes, symbols meant to keep them safe at sea. You feel it in the markets, where bargaining isn't about the money, it's about the dance. And that's the thing. Vietnam isn't a place you just see. Don't just scroll past. Leave a comment, hit like, and share this with someone who deserves a front row seat to this incredible country. Because Vietnam isn't just a destination. It's an experience that stays with you long after you've gone.